Welcome to Sharing Hope. I'm your host, Jamie George, and our guest today is Mr. Colton Dixon. This guy has been all over the place. You may have seen him on American Idol. He was super successful there. He broke records when his solo album came out. He's got a really great music video, by the way. He's done all kinds of things, both musically and as an entertainer, and I'm thrilled to have him with us. Mr. Colton Dixon, good to see you, brother.
Man, it's always great to see you. It's been too long.
I know, been too long. Crazy. So how are you and the fam coping with the quarantine?
Yeah, I mean, we're good. We were talking just a little bit earlier. We hate the circumstances, but we haven't necessarily minded the just intentional time with each other at home. For those who don't know, my wife is 5 months pregnant.
Wait, and what number child is this?
This is 1 and 2. Twin girls. Yeah, we've been praying a lot.
Hey, no. I know what it's like to start out with twins. Same thing, right?
I know.
Off the top.
Selfishly, that's kind of why I was excited for today. I need all the wisdom that I can get. But no, we love your boys. They're awesome. But yeah, so we've been taking this time, not only just with each other, it's like, man, it's like how, again, it sounds selfish to say we hate the circumstances, but what better timing for something like this to happen? Annie's pregnant. We have to be at home. We're soaking up all this time with each other, gearing up for the babies, and we're getting to work on the nursery and get the house the way we want it. And it's been a lot of fun. But we've also been stir crazy. It hasn't been all roses, you know. I've gone through a couple puzzles, went through a Lego set.
Wait, you know, what did you make? What was the Lego?
I made a 1989 Batmobile, and It was awesome. My inner nerd like squealed when I actually saw fellow Batman nerd Chris Daughtry. He was making the Batmobile. I'm like, bro, where did you get this? He's like, it's on lego.com, you know. So we've been having fun with that. But yeah, it's good, but we're ready for like some FaceTime with our friends and family. And yeah, how about you guys? How have you been?
Well, we went through a thing. I don't know if the boys had told you this, but Angie wound up with breast cancer. This was it kind of happened at the end of last year. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. And so her procedure was in the middle of the quarantine. So yeah, so we were up at the hospital, and thank the Lord, everything that we hoped would happen. And so she went through it, and she came out, and super grateful. She's recovering really well.
Great.
But that was it was insane. And walking through the hospital, like there was only 2 people on the entire floor where we were. That one whole wing was completely shut down. I mean, it was really eerie. Like it kind of felt apocalyptic, you know. But yeah, we got a lot of attention. So nurses were great. Yeah. So we went through that, but you know, we have 4 kids, and so the kids have come in and out of the house, and so that's been great to. Like you said, it's been great to be intentional with the time, and for her to recover, and for us to not be running full sprint. And I have a tendency to run full sprint. Shiny objects. I think you can relate to me. Yes, yeah. Like, oh, that's a good opportunity. We should try that. So yeah, it's kind of forced me to be like, okay, yeah, we're slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been good for me. I don't know about for you.
It has.
But the problem is, like, the outside world I've been forced to slow down. It's like, okay, that's fine. But then I'm inside the house, and I'm like, let's remodel this room this week. And then the next week comes, well, then let's remodel the kitchen. Let's remodel this. We've almost gone through every room in our house, Jamie. It's man.
For those Enneagram people out there, Colt and I are both 3s. So it's just.
You have a wing?
4.
Same.
I was going to say, you have to have a 4 wing, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife is like a 4 through and through.
Oh.
Yeah, so the conversations go deep very fast. which is great.
Yes.
But yeah, it's really fun being in a house.
Does she ask you how you're feeling often? And do you go, my 3 has no idea how I'm feeling.
Same.
And then, so usually if she's like, well, how you feeling? I'm like, can I tell you like in 3 days?
Yeah. I know I have a 4 wing. I have like deep emotions with certain things, but in other things I can coast and I can block it out for weeks and weeks.
Is most of your emotion for other people? Like that's the easiest thing for me. Like empathy, like, oh, I can see how you're feeling.
Honestly, when I watch movies, I'm so like, I know exactly what they're feeling, even though I haven't gone through it. It's like, man, we watched Onward last night. Have you seen?
Oh yeah, is that good? Is that?
It was really sappy. For those of you, everyone else I've talked to absolutely loved it. I thought it was okay. It was just really sappy. Okay. But the premise is these 2 boys lost their father really young, and they're on this quest because they have a spell that can bring him back for a day. So sappy. But I still have my dad, and I related with them. I don't know how that works. But I don't know.
I think maybe it's because we generally don't feel our feelings. Sometimes when I'm watching movies, I'm like, man, do I have like suppressed feelings? Was I supposed to feel that like a month ago?
Yes. That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely relate to that. Okay, so here's a question I've been asking everybody. Massive season of uncertainty. And even though, we're doing this interview where things are, we're starting to hear about openings and things, it looks like the ban is beginning to lift in some states.
Yeah.
But the uncertainty isn't totally going away. Is it going to come back in the fall? And what does this mean?
Sure.
So not just for health, but for economy and for people's livelihoods and their vocations and relationships. And you and I talked about, like, we're anticipating some conflict in relational dynamics of, like, who thinks you should go out and who thinks you shouldn't, and who's following the rules and who's rebellious. And so all this uncertainty that we're facing, can you take us back to a story or a point in your story where you dealt with that kind of uncertainty? Like, you really didn't have much of a clue where things were going to go. And how did you get through it? And how are you different because of it?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's actually a story that happened not too long ago, about 2.5 to 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. My deal with American Idol ended, which isn't a bad thing. Love them. Everyone will be the first to tell you it's not the best deal in the world. But great opportunity. Not going to speak negative, but when that ended, my record label deal ended as well. So it was kind of like the 1-2 punch. And I love the people at Capitol Christian Music, which was my label at the time. So it came as a shock. We were writing for a new record. We were like 10 songs into a new record, and they were like, hey, business decision here. We love you, but we have to part ways. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what?
And these things just happen to coincide at the same. Good.
They did. This was like right leading up to the holidays, like 2-3 years ago. So it was just like we were off for the holidays anyway, but it was just too much time to think and to dwell on it because we weren't super busy. So my initial reaction was, oh my gosh, like what a kick in the gut. What a setback. Like, I think I'm still supposed to do music. God, am I still supposed to do music? Like,
right.
Or is this like your gentle nudge, not so gentle.
Right.
Saying like, hey, I've got something else for you. Am I going to be like man enough to take that and to like rip my identity from music, which it's really funny when you write a record called Identity. And then you have to practice what you preach. I'm sure you know nothing about that.
No, nothing.
So that was all going down. And like a week or two into like me wallowing in self-pity, trying to figure out what I was going to do, my wife says something that just totally changed the game for us. She says, man, what if this isn't a setback? What if God is just setting you up for what's next? And it was kind of like my ears perked up, and I'm like, setup. That's much better than setback.
Setback,
But,
yeah.
okay, cool. We're firm believers that faith is what precedes a miracle. The only thing that pleases God is faith. So just keeping that in mind and going, okay, instead of coming at this with fear, we're going to come at this with faith, and we're going to give it to God and just have faith and total trust that he's going to work it out. And he did. It's I don't try to formalize the Bible, because it's not about that. It's about a relationship, but it's pretty simple. And I think we can overcomplicate it sometimes. But in these times, especially this time we're in right now, it's so easy to come at it with fear of the unknown. It's like, well, what is it going to look like? What are family gatherings going to look like? What is church going to look like? What are concerts going to look like? Are there going to be concerts in the next year?
Yeah.
These are things we don't know. But instead of coming at it with fear, you boil it down to the basics. It's like, okay, well, even though my flesh, I enjoy concerts, but that ultimately comes back to how I'm getting paid, my income. It's like, okay, that's a part of income. God's my provider, not man. So you just boil it down to what it is and go, okay, I'm just going to have faith that God's going to provide regardless, because he can, and he's done it before, and he'll do it again. So very kind of pragmatic way of thinking about it maybe, but
what when you leaned into the faith element, like when you're like, look, we're not going to do the fear, like it sounds like there was actually like a decision of intent.
Yes. Yeah, it's a decision that no one else can make for you.
Wow.
It's a decision that you just have to make. It's, in a way, it's kind of like working out. No one really enjoys it, but they enjoy the results. So it comes down to this decision of, okay, I know this is better for me. So at least the people who have made a decision, I know this is better for me. I'm not always there, by the way. I know this is better for me. So I'm just going to make the decision to do this based on what I know to be true. So if we would come at it the same way in our spiritual lives, in our walk with Christ, it's like, okay, I know God to be good always through the thick and thin. So if I would just make my decisions based on what I know to be true, I don't know. It's easier.
Yeah.
It needs to be easier to me.
Yeah. It feels like you're saying, if I trust in the character of God, here's where I'm putting my trust. It doesn't have to be the process. It's not my feeling about it. I'm just trusting who God is.
Yeah. Faith isn't about our feelings. If it was, we would be all over the place.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us can be sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
But when we base it on the fact that, again, God is who he says he is, it takes all of the guesswork out of it, and it allows us just to make a clear decision to move forward regardless of how we feel.
Yeah, and we don't necessarily know what the outcome is, right? Like God's going to provide. Well, what exactly is provision? Does it mean you get to cancel Hulu but keep Netflix? I've been talking to people like, I just really need God to provide. I'm like, could you define provision? Because I got some friends who live in other parts of the world. Their provision is clean water.
Yeah.
And it's been good for our family to walk through. Hey, because we're going through this major transition too. I got a live show and it got postponed, and asking financially, and we're like, if we cut this thing all the way down here, what really is a luxury? Yeah. And when we ask God for provision, and if you want to ask him for Netflix, that's fine. Let's just be real clear on what it is we're asking for when we say provision.
Yeah. What's the commodity? Yeah, for sure. That's hilarious. Yeah. It doesn't always look the way we think or want it to look.
Yeah.
But when you look back on your life and you think about those situations that were tough or whatever, it's like, did I make it through? Yeah, I did. Good, bad, or ugly. Yeah. I made it through. Again, it doesn't always look the way we think or want it to look. Yeah. But the same would be for this.
Are there things you do practically, like as an exercise of faith? There's like a spiritual practice or a mindset, I love the one thing you said is like, at one level, you can't count other people can give you counsel or wisdom or advice or perspective, but you have to make the decision, right? I loved that. Like, no, ultimately you are the only one who can make the call. But are there like actual things you do that keep you in a faith mindset?
Yeah. I mean, they're the obvious like church answers, but they're answers for a reason.
Yeah.
When you spend time with God and you're in his word, you start to understand the character of God. And the more you understand the character of God, the more you start to develop that relationship with him. And whenever you're going through something, your first reaction isn't fear. It's, okay, God, what would you do? Or, you know, if something really bad happens, your first response isn't, oh my God, that's terrible. You start freaking out. It's, you start to pray and you start to intercede.
Is that because you almost have there's a familiarity with God because you've just been with him?
Yes. It's like, this is a not true example, but say you have a friend and someone else tells you, oh, your friend was talking bad about you behind your back, but you know your friend's character and you know that they would never do that. So you can automatically dismiss it and it doesn't bother you.
You don't even give it any credibility. Like,
yeah, you don't take the bait.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Shameless plug. I can't believe I'm doing this right now. I've got a song that just came out, and the only reason I'm going to mention it
well, I was going to ask you to plug something anyway, so thank you. You're already ahead of me.
Perfect. It's called The Devil's a Liar, and it's about that. It's like, man, there are two categories: steal, kill, and destroy, and life more abundantly. So when something comes at you, place it in the right category, and if it's in this category, dismiss it. If it's in this category, pay attention to it. So grab onto it, hold on to it. So the devil's really smart. He's really cunning. As you know, he can weasel his way into the church, into all these different areas. We'll believe these lies. They're not true. They come from the devil because he's really good at what he does.
How do you sniff out the difference of abundance and still kill and destroy energy? Like, how is there kind of a, like, do you go, is it something you feel like in your spirit? Is there a phrase you're kind of looking for? How do you pick up the difference?
I think there are multiple ways. One way is like God says in his word, my sheep will hear know my voice. So like, like when God is talking to you, your spirit perks up. Like it's hard, maybe hard to explain, but you can just rest in knowing it's like, that's what I need to do. Some people, like my wife was born and raised pretty charismatic. She's like, I have peace about that. And I've understood to know what that means. Like, okay, cool. Let's go with that. But other times it's just like, if something is robbing or stealing your joy, or if something just doesn't sit right, or,
so you're really just paying attention. Like there's a real
paying attention
and attentiveness.
It's also comparing it to the word. If something is contrary to what God says in his word, it's not as hard as people make it out to be, I think.
Yeah. That's the piece where you said sometimes we make this way more complex than it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get faith, hope, and love, I mean, you can go a long way each day with those three things.
Go a long way, my friend. Yes.
So what is happening musically for you? Take us through the transition of what you're up to now, what's going on, which I'm sure a lot of stuff's been postponed or whatever else, but
sure.
Catch us up.
Yeah. Touring is kind of on hiatus right now. With everyone else, we had a tour cancel, end of April into May.
Were you on the road when it happened, or were you home?
No, we were not.
Okay.
We were in rehearsals for a couple one-off shows, gearing up for a tour.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a show in Nashville for a youth convention. It canceled, and we were like, I wonder if the Las Vegas show next week is going to cancel. And, we showed up to rehearse on our last day, and we found out that morning it canceled. I'm like, Can we just rehearse anyway? Is that cool?
Right.
Let's pretend this isn't happening. So we did. But, man, the last 2.5 years have been kind of crazy. Again, just kind of sitting in that waiting period of not knowing the end result. Still don't know the end result. I don't know if this is going to work. which is, again, crazy. That's where faith comes in. Faith isn't seeing. So we are believing that God knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But I've been writing a lot. Feel like we've written enough for like 7 or 8 albums.
Wow.
Crazy. It's a lot of songs, unfortunately.
And that's not easy. For people who don't understand songwriting, like, it's a labor of love to birth a song. Or does it just come easy for you?
No, I wish it did. For the people who do, I hate them. No, it is. It's just a lot of energy, a lot of emotion, a lot of energy. When I leave the studio, I'm done. Like I'm tapped out. The only thing that's more tiring to me are music videos. I don't know what that is. But anyway, a lot of songs, but we're actually about to drop an EP May 15th. Don't quote me on that. I think that's the day.
But in May, middle of May.
Middle of May. It was supposed to be May 1st. We pushed it back because we were trying to figure out how to film a music video in the middle of all of this. Open to suggestions. But we have 2 songs out now, Devil's a Liar and one called Miracles. Miracles is really fun. If you need a jam, it's a fun one. Devil's a Liar is also fun, but it's a little edgier. But yeah, we're just excited, kind of like you. I'm excited to break outside of the walls of the church again. I love the church and it will always have a place in my heart. I love Christian music and it will always have a place in my heart, and it will always be home base for me. Yeah. But with this new deal, I'm with Atlantic Records, which is a mainstream record company. So it looks a lot different. Coming from a show like American Idol, where that was just the norm, it was all mainstream and that was fine. And then I went into the Christian music world and realized real quick, okay, I have to make certain kinds of music. Yeah. And
most people don't understand that, but when you're making music for certain genres, there are limiting factors.
Sure. Yeah. It's like, okay, like Christian music lovers expect a certain thing. Christian radio expects a certain thing. It's like, okay, great. How can I be true to me and true to them at the same time? So it's kind of that push and pull, which that exists in mainstream and Christian. It just looks different. Yeah. But now that our arms are reached a little wider, I guess it's just there are more opportunities to reach more people. Yeah. That's the way we're looking at it. Yeah, and beautiful. I'm like, I have tons of friends who don't listen to Christian music. They'll listen to worship music, but they also listen to Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber and everyone else. So I'm like, okay, great. Then let's just make the best music that we know to make. God inspired, whether it's a love song or whether it's a worship song. Yeah. And we're going to go out and reach those people and make music for those people as well as church people and see what God does with it. So we're like so excited for this. I'm really excited to get to go back on the road whenever that is. Yes. Because I'm going to get to like see like, oh man, like I'm pretty sure that dude is a Satan worshiper, but he showed up to one of my shows and we just get to love on him and be like,
and we're going to have a great conversation.
Yes. Right. Crazy conversation. But I'm excited for that. Yeah. Because that's what Jesus did. Like he wasn't necessarily like in the synagogue all the time. Like he was, but he was stirring up the pot, Yeah. He was out loving on the people who wouldn't step foot. And so I'm excited to do that.
Oh, that's amazing. So, so Devil is a Liar. And what was the other song?
Miracles.
So Spotify, Apple Music, and all that stuff.
It's all over there. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And if you don't make it as a musician, you can be a home remodeler.
Yes. Yeah. We have gotten a lot of experience doing that. So
you've been doing that for 4 weeks, right?
I've been doing that for 4 weeks. To be honest, I've been doing that for 4 years. But it's been amplified these 4 weeks.
Yes. And I do have a suggestion for your music video.
What's that? Come on.
So I did an interview with Jeremy Cowart. You know Jeremy.
Love Jeremy.
Jeremy's amazing, creative freak. Yeah. So he said when this whole thing went down, like you and I, a lot of stuff got canceled. He's scratching his head going, what am I going to do? And he winds up doing pictures, like portraits, like gorgeous, beautiful portraits of people through their webcam. So maybe you call up Jeremy and go, Jeremy, how about we make a music video through your webcam?
Dude.
I don't know.
Well, it would look incredible if
It'd be
Jeremy.
Jeremy. So, right. He might have some crazy idea.
What is Jeremy on the Enneagram?
That's a good question.
Because I know his attention to detail makes me think 3, but he's too deep to be a 3.
I would think 4 because like who has that kind
Maybe 4 with a 3 wing.
Maybe yes, because he does seem like he's got a big capacity. He's always doing stuff.
Yeah.
But his creative output is and he's not afraid to try anything.
I know. Man, I follow him on Instagram. I've seen those pictures. I didn't know how he did them though.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Is that nuts? He shoots it from the webcam like onto a canvas while he has his iPad up and he's painting in real time on the canvas. I don't know. I couldn't understand the whole thing. But he tried to explain it. I was like, yeah, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I do all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The whole time I'm a little bit like, I think I'm pretty creative too.
Yeah, that's great. I caught up on Tiger King on Netflix today.
Right. So you should just text him and be like, I got to make a music video. Give me one of your creative ideas.
That's a great idea. That might pick his brain. Yeah.
Well, man, thanks for taking the time to hang out.
Yes, man. Let's do this more often.
For sure.
It's sad that this is what brought us together again. But
I know.
Also, for those of you who don't know, I just have to do this because the first time Jamie and I met, we were on set for one of my music videos.
That's right.
The first music video I ever did.
Was it the first one?
It was the very first one. Jamie played this boy all grown up. It's basically like the prodigal son story. And one of his twin boys played his younger self.
Yes.
And, man, we just had a great time hanging out.
That was super
a really
fun.
good time.
And Tyler and I we'd never done, that was back when I was acting. We were with this agency. We'd never done anything together. And so it was super cool. I do remember the director on set asking me to do something and him going, yeah, whatever you're doing is not good. Can you please step out and come back? And me being like, yeah, okay, let me work on that. My acting chops are a little rusty. Yeah, I'll come back for that scene. Yeah.
That is amazing. That is incredible. Eric Welch.
Yes, Eric, that's right. I do think I think I came back and nailed it, but yeah, he was like, I don't know what you're doing right now. Could you please step away and come back?
Nailed it. One of my producers, that's still one of his favorite videos to this day. It's one of mine.
That was a great video.
Came together, man. It was awesome.
And so anyway, fun. Yeah. Well, congrats on the twins. The due date is when?
Thank you. It was August 28th, and now it could be late July since it's twins.
Yeah. We Angie came a month early with the boys. Yeah, it was a total of, she had like 13 and a half pounds of baby in her.
Whoa!
6'5" and 6'3". I can't remember what they were, but yeah. But it's a party. Hey, here's the good news with twins off the top. I got 4 kids. Off the top, you don't really know any different.
Totally. Yeah. That's what but when people say that, here's like the caveat for us. When people say that, I'm like, okay, that's true. So this is going to just be like twice as hard.
No, it's not. It's because you don't have a comparison to what the other heart is.
Totally.
It is.
Still though, I'm like, I see it in their eyes. they're like, hey, like, you're not going to know any different, then it's going to be fine.
and our eyes get real wide, like, it's
I know, and I'm like,
at all. No, it is such a blast. I mean, it's so much fun, and it is. There's no question there are moments of insanity, but it's so much fun. Man, they got playmates. It's instant playmate.
Totally. Yeah, everyone keeps telling us they're going to be best friends until they're 80. Like, exactly. Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
We love that.
Well, again, thanks for hanging, brother. And hey, and one other thing, along going to Spotify and all that stuff, is there like a website or Instagram or something else? They just want to follow you and what's going on.
ColtonDixon.com will point you to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're getting ready to launch some merch we're excited about.
Oh, cool.
EP. It'll point you to the songs. ColtonDixon.com will point you to all of those fun things.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, be safe and keep thriving.
Will do. Likewise.
Take care. You too.